Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone Air and compare it against the iPhone 17 Pro. Is it better to buy the thinnest iPhone Apple has ever made or the most expensive, powerful iPhone Apple has ever made? Let's go and see how they compare. Now, if you want to pick up these iPhones or some other iPhones I recommend buying this year, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Starting off with the outside of both these particular iPhones. The iPhone Air, which came out literally like a week ago, is essentially giving you a massive size display on the front for how thin this iPhone is. It's basically giving you a 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. It's a very good panel. It basically only feels like you're holding the panel in your phone, which is kind of panel in your hand, which is kind of crazy. It's a very bright panel, 3000 nits of brightness, ProMotion technology, always on display, dynamic island, very thin bezels all throughout, and this reflective material across the iPhone Air is something that looks and feels very, very good. And it definitely feels like a very thin iPhone. I'm not gonna lie, when I first picked it up, I'm like, it's very thin. But is it necessarily a feature, right? For it being thin, it's really cool. But I don't know, at least on the front side, it doesn't feel like it's really sacrificing anything, and at least on the front side, for sure. With the iPhone 17 Pro, it definitely is a thicker, bigger iPhone, and you can feel it. This phone is giving you a smaller 6.3-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So this panel is thinner, for sure, and it doesn't necessarily, it feels like a bigger, thicker phone, but by the time you put a case on this, even the MagSafe, then it's a MagSafe battery, it's definitely going to feel thicker. But this one is going to be giving you a very good panel too. I like the way this thing looks. I don't really know if there's a big difference here. I can't really tell, but do keep in mind that they're both, this one's a little smaller than the iPhone Air. It's kind of the best way to put it. Now, when it comes down to their thinness, you can kind of get an idea of how thin the iPhone Air is. It is a very thin phone. It is for sure. It is a really cool thing about it. Again, is it a feature? I don't know. It still is a big phone. It's not like a small phone. It doesn't bend or anything, which is nice. But, I don't know if that's necessarily something that's super crazy here, because I feel like even by the 17 Pro, if I get used to the 17 Pro, it's probably not going to be a big deal. But the Air is definitely a thin phone for sure. USB Type-C ports on the bottom. The iPhone Air does have a camera button, which I was surprised about. So they both have camera buttons here, which is really cool. And they both have power buttons on the side. On the back side, you can see you have a single camera on the iPhone Air, which I feel like is insane to have in a $1,000 phone. They can try to spin it whichever way they want to, but I'm much more of a bigger fan of having a ultra wide camera at least, and this one doesn't have it. But both have wireless charging, both have MagSafe capability and all that stuff. The 17 Pro is actually built out of aluminum though, where the iPhone Air is essentially built out of titanium. So that is a slight difference, but it's not really that big of a deal because the aluminum is better in some cases from what I'm seeing from drop test. So at least from the exterior, I do like the iPhone Air and I like the iPhone 17 Pro. But the fact that the iPhone Air is a $1,000 phone is kind of weird to me. I feel like this phone isn't, for you to pay that much for just a thin phone, I don't know, right? I like the texture of this phone, I like how it feels and looks, but I feel like that's a very expensive iPhone to have. Now let's go and do a speed test, right? This is kind of the way I'd put it. The iPhone Air is basically giving you the Apple A19 Pro chipset inside of it, where the iPhone 17 Pro is giving you that same exact chipset inside too, but this one is giving you more RAM inside of it than the iPhone Air. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between these two. Alrighty, all the apps are cleared out in the background as you can tell. iPhone Air is on the left, iPhone 17 Pro is on the right. Let's get into it. Let's do photos, 3, 2, 1. Okay, kind of the same thing, cameras, 3, 2, 1. So I think there's probably going to be a lot of similarity here for the most part. I don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference as far as you're going to be able to tell, at least from the beginning with. So you can kind of tell from opening up these applications, so far, it's the same exact thing across the board. Now the 17 Pro should do a little bit better when it comes down to their RAM management side. You can see right there the iPhone Air was actually slightly faster. I was tapping onto the display, so that could be one of the things. I'm also seeing on the iPhone Air, it's kind of a little bit slower to open up the app, but you can see right there the iPhone Air actually did end up opening up that application faster than something like the iPhone 17 Pro. So that is kind of an interesting thing there. Let's go and get into health, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so pretty much the same exact thing all across the board. I haven't seen either one of these phones really hiccup from that side. So I feel like that's a really, really nice thing. And so far, I'm actually, okay, so that one I messed up a little bit on, but let's just load this one up in the background. So far, both of them have done really, really good. I'm very, very proud of both these phones. So not really anything super crazy going on here. As always, that's a really, really nice thing to have. We do have some of these applications we can load up, and I'm just trying to load up as many apps in the background to see when they start kind of failing from that RAM side. And so far, they're actually doing really good, which I'm really happy about. You're going to be able to tell over the camera if one is doing like exceptionally better than the other one. We're making our way over to some like bigger types of applications. So when we start getting into the more bigger ones, so that one kind of shut between both and open them both up. Not really too sure what to do there. Now, GarageBand is a bigger type of application. So when we click on continue, these types of apps are going to kind of tell us what to do. And if we want to kind of load up a project, they're both doing a pretty good job here. So you can see right there, they both did a really good job there for sure. Hopping out of these two, let's do iMovie 321. So again, kind of the same thing, loading up the same thing here too. I'm not seeing any really big differences, right? If you're going from one game, one app to the other, you're not really going to notice anything big. They're both doing a really good job when it comes down to the performance side. And if I was going from one phone to the other, I genuinely would not be able to tell a difference when it comes down to that. Even in this game, like, what even is that difference in the grand scheme of things? It's not really that big of a deal. Like I said, the big difference you're going to notice probably is from the performance side, right? Like it's basically from the RAM. So if we go back here, some of them might not perform that great, some of them will. So it's really going to come down to that. But so far, they've been doing pretty good when it comes down to it. So from the performance side, that kind of covers it up there. They're basically almost the same type of device when it comes down to it. Now let's go and hit on the camera side. Now both these cameras, for the most part, are giving you a different type of setup. So with something like the iPhone 17 Pro, this one's a triple camera setup, wide ultra-wide telephoto lens. The iPhone Air is giving you a single wide-angle camera. Both are giving you 4K at 60 on the front, but the iPhone 17 Pro does give you the added benefit of having a 4K at 120 on the backside, which is actually really cool. With something like the iPhone Air, this type of camera is fairly limited. You're only getting 1x zoom here, but you are getting like 10x zoom on the outside. So that is a really nice thing to have, but I'm a much bigger fan of the 17 Pro. The 17 Pro's cameras are really good. This one really isn't that great. You do get center stage on the front side, but it's a limited camera, right? It's only a single camera. It doesn't even have an ultra-wide camera. Like, it's crazy that it doesn't have it. With the 17 Pro, this one is definitely going to be a step in the right direction. This one is going to be giving you an insane amount of zooming in, 40x zooming in, which is insane to have inside of a device. That right there is crazy. 0.5x zoom as well. So you're getting both the zooming in and zooming out within this phone, which is a killer thing to have. Unfortunately, the iPhone Air doesn't have it. Video mode, cinematic mode, all that stuff. And definitely without a doubt, the iPhone 17 Pro is going to be giving you a much better experience from that side than the iPhone Air. Now, one other thing to keep in mind here too is basically software longevity. The 17 Pro and iPhone Air are probably going to last the exact same when it comes down to software. Also, when it comes down to battery life, the iPhone 17 Pro is probably going to be giving you an overall better type of battery life when it comes down to that. So I think that right there is another big thing. Definitely much better battery life from something like the iPhone 17 Pro than the iPhone Air. So to kind of sum up this video, what I'll tell you is between these two devices, the 17 Pro it's a much better phone. For $100 more, you're getting a significantly better phone. It's better battery life, better cameras, better performance, better RAM, like better everything inside of the 17 Pro. It's a 10 out of it's like the best iPhone you can buy. The iPhone Air just really doesn't make too much sense to buy in my opinion. Even if you want a super thin phone, like I'd still rather just buy something like an iPhone 16 Pro Max or something like that and buy something like that because you're just getting like a nice display and everything, but the phone itself, with the camera especially, it's a very lackluster type of experience everywhere else, besides it being thin. But it still is like a very good performing phone. But if this was $699 or $799, then it makes more sense. But for $1,000, it makes more sense to buy the 17 Pro, in my opinion. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.